Dave Meltzer is capping his ass off in 2024, and the Lying Observer newsletter continues to erupt in flames. We're less than 3 months into the new year, and Dave Meltzer has already had more retractions than the amount of hairs on David Bix's neck. Dave bottomed out again recently when The Rock called a recent report by Meltzer horseshit, after Dave Biden reported talent was not allowed to curse, suggesting there was a double standard between The Rock and the WWE locker room. That report actually might be true. I've spoken to people who swear they've seen the memo, but the fact that the biggest star in wrestling felt the need to come out and call out Dave on his bullshit is a perfect microcosm for the type of year Dave's had. It's a Dave Meltzer is over party this WrestleMania season. No, not that kind of over. This kind of over. No, not over like Future's friendship with Drake. I mean over like Goldberg during the streak. You know, before the Japanese girl. Despite his ratchet reporting, Dave Meltzer is not over and done. Meltzer is actually getting over by being pro wrestling's Rita Skeeter, even though R-Truth is more accurate than Dave Meltzer these days. Today, we're going to talk about Meltzer's mistakes, why journalism is dead and overrated, especially in wrestling, and why defective Dave is actually getting more engagement by failing upwards with the Wrestling Observer tabloid. Subscribe in Swahili. Dave Meltzer is being picked apart on the Bird app like a carcass next to a wake of vultures. This isn't the first time he's fucked up a story in 2024. It's not even the first time he's lied on The Rock in 2024. Just last month, Meltzer hilariously confused a backstage segment between The Rock and Triple H with a current Rock Triple H angle amid Dwayne and Paul's renewed tensions headed into WrestleMania this year. But you don't have to be the biggest star in Hollywood to catch these lies from Dave. AEW's Jack Perry, who remains in complete obscurity because of CM Punk's temperament, checked Dave for saying Perry apologized to Tony Khan following his role in the Brawl In. Perry sent the Observer a lengthy letter correcting Meltzer's report about apologizing to Tony Khan. Perry's tensions with Khan and Meltzer could lead to the AEW star eventually going to WWE, in what would be another situation where WWE would test CM Punk by seeing how he reacts to the signing of Jack Perry. Maybe with fake glass this time? This could also be an elaborate Brian Pillman-esque work where Perry and Khan are using Meltzer to make people think that Perry's on his way out of AEW. And wouldn't that be a fitting use of the Lying Observer newsletter, which continues to bleed credibility by the day? But one thing Dave Meltzer isn't losing is engagement. Because every time Dave messes up, something weird happens. He becomes a trending topic. His failures go so viral, they actually raise his profile as a bumbling journalist. That's literally his gimmick. He's Manti Te'o, but instead of having a fake girlfriend, he just makes up fake stories. Let's face it, if anybody really gave a damn about journalism, Meltzer's career would be fucked. But lucky for him, we're in the era of content creation, not journalism. Go look at dying publications like Vice News and Deadspin to see what's happening to journalism in this country. Journalism died with the rise of cable news and opinion-based content. Get it how you live, I don't make the rules. Journalism or not, everybody has their own set of facts that they choose to believe. It's a sad reality, but it's also America. Land of the free, home of more sad realities than you could shake a slave at. Walter Cronkite is long gone. Don't nobody want to see some crusty old man chasing down a story for the sake of journalism, especially in pro wrestling, an industry filled with carnies that undermine the very idea of journalism in the first place. Journalism has gone from a public service to a fool's errand. The world is just too divided these days to support the rise of any reporter who thinks they're doing God's work, when really a journalist is just a writer with no personality. The IWC can have Dave Meltzer. I'll take Jim Cornette. Or even Pat McAfee. They're exciting, engaging, and informative in ways that entertain. Walter Cronkite, Bob Lee, thank you for your service. Charles Barkley, Mace, and Cameron will take it from here. In fact, let me put together a starting 5 of media personalities and journalists right quick. Line them up. Okay. Give me Unc, Alfred Konuwa, Stephen A. Smith, McAfee, and as a 6th man, we'll take Skip Bayless. The rest of you boring journalists can go back to reporting numbers that don't do numbers. We'll be right back. Full disclosure, and as I've said many times on this app, I subscribe to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Dave Meltzer is wrestling's most venerable journalist, but that's like being a premier drill rapper in Flatlick, Kentucky. In the words of the OG Eric Bischoff, Dave is a useful idiot. Me being a subscriber is an important point, by the way, because one of Dave Meltzer's keys to more engagement, in addition to virally terrible reporting, is interacting with trolls on Twitter. Dave only picks fights he knows he can win, all to create the narrative and the lie that anybody who disagrees with Meltzer is a troll who doesn't read the Observer. Dave tells one troll after another on the Bird app, you don't read, and you don't read, and you don't read, and put it this way, you don't read the Observer? He don't want the smoke with subscribers who actually do read like me, but who are well versed in his fuckery and can slice him to pieces like any of the sentences he tries to put together when he talks. Meltzer said what is the best in the world at calling out all of Dave's screw-ups. Give them a follow. They're also a longtime subscriber, and guess what? Dave has him blocked. Dave has gone on record in saying he doesn't like fighting with other media people. Yes, Dave likes to take the high road by arguing with the deranged subredditors who are beneath him. At least I think they're beneath him. Because Dave refusing to feud with other wrestling media types is basically him saying he's intellectually inferior to his own peers and superiors and would rather fight with the hill people under the bridge that is Internet Skid Row. Dave may have a personality of a journalist or lack thereof, but he's not in the news business. He's not even in the wrestling news business, where the news is about as real as the match outcomes. Dave's put his shitty reporting on display time and again. Again, I suggest you check out Meltzer Said What for a deeper dive into Dave's bullshit, but here are some recent clip notes. Just days before Okada's debut, Dave claimed Okada to AEW wasn't confirmed, but then went on to report that Okada joining the Elite was being planned for months. Dave got worked by Hangman Adam Page, reporting he may have a legit ankle injury when Mans was just selling. Dave reported Tommy Dreamer was head of TNA Creative, a report Tommy denied. He also reported WWE on Fox would be in lame duck mode in 2024, since this is the last year of their contract before WWE goes to Netflix. All that's happened since then is The Rock headlining one SmackDown after another, one of which became the #1 rated television show in all of broadcast TV. Meltzer reported Elimination Chamber had only moved 7,800 tickets, then had to correct himself in saying that they had moved over 30,000. In the end, over 45,000 tickets were sold in real life. And that's just the short list this year. Oh yeah, then there was this gem.
Poor people don't like AEW.
Dave Meltzer provides entertaining fakery and fuckery, if you'll pardon my Swahili. He's offering up trash content that allows him to fail upward. I read the Wrestling Observer tabloid for the same reason people read the National Enquirer. It's a faulty institution of lies from a well-connected reporter who writes stories that are disconnected from reality. It's really no different from any wrestling journalist in a climate littered with tribal cronyism. Get it how you live. Check out this playlist about Tony Khan and subscribe. What went wrong with Dave Meltzer? Why do Dave be capping? And how bad will this meltdown get? Tell me in the comments!